Let's go back and talk a little bit about what we have called in our exhibit the revolutionary she.
In 1790, the state of New Jersey, or the state legislatures in New Jersey, pass a new statute to the election law in which they say that he or she is able to vote in the state of New Jersey. And at the museum, we call this the revolutionary she. And it really proclaims what the New Jersey state constitution only implies, and that is that women are eligible to vote in the state of New Jersey. The 1790 election law does much more than enfranchise women, that it also implements township voting for 7 of the 13 counties in New Jersey, all West Jersey counties, and they include Bergen, Monmouth, Burlington, Gloucester, Salem, Hunterdon, and Sussex. All of which at this point carry both a heavily Quaker influence and also a heavily Federalist influence. So the key innovations to the 1797 law are similar to the 1790 law, with the exception of the fact that instead of this just applying to 7 of the 13 counties, that now the he or she clause, as well as township voting, are initiated statewide to all 13 counties in New Jersey. We also see a change in the wording of the property amount that is required to be eligible to vote in the state of New Jersey, where we see the wording of 15 pounds proclamation money, clear estate in the same, being shortened to 50 pounds proclamation money.
Well, I do think that the changing statutes may have drawn women more to the polls, that they realized that they had a chance to vote statewide, not just in the 7 original counties where they were first enfranchised. And so I think that led to more women's participation and hence more commentary about their participation. I do think it was a particularly intense time of party politics in the United States, and especially, on the East Coast, because the quasi-war with France was going on. France was considered a real threat. There was a threat of invasion from France, and the Federalists were in power at the national level. John Adams was president, and the Jeffersonian Republicans were very critical of him. And there were a lot of drumbeats for war on the side of the Federalists. So I think that national issues may have played a role in politicizing the population. I do think that the broadening of the franchise offered a new opportunity for more women in New Jersey to vote. And I think local issues, there's a lot of strong rivalries that go on between certain towns and cities at this time. And, I think that too, the local mobilization of voters could play a role in women coming out to vote more dramatically by 1797.
1790 in particular is a very important decade, not just in New Jersey, but across the nation and across the Atlantic as well. And I think that that's worth bringing into play here when we look at 1790 and the revolutionary she moment. And that's because we do see what some historians, for instance, Sheila Skemp, have defined as a women's rights talk that's emerging in this period. Looking at women in the 1790s like Judith Sargent Murray, Susanna Rowson, overseas women like Mary Wollstonecraft, Olympe de Gouges, and all of these women who are pushing for or advocating for women's rights, particularly their right to education, and how this rights talk is really informing or possibly influencing women and their desire to participate politically, particularly in a state like New Jersey, where they are legally entitled to vote.